Yeah, let's talk about the Texas Rangers. And their over-under is
Talk
at
about him.
81 and a half. And they had some key additions. They won 68 games last year. Texas Rangers over-under. Are they finally going to go over 81 and a half?
So it's a good sign for them in general that their over under is over 10 games, higher than their actual win total from last year. If you're a fan, you like that. I mean, you don't win anything on paper, but it's like, hey, we made some moves. They did a lot to the starting rotation, obviously starting with DeGrom. As much as we talk about the injuries and all that, you got to set it aside for a little bit and look kind of best case scenario. One of the best pitchers in baseball. They got Evaldi, they got Andrew Haney. Their rotation, Odorizzi, is actually pretty solid if it can be headed up by DeGrom, right? And it's hard to put so much stock in one pitcher, but they feel like guaranteed wins a lot of the time when he starts. So I think he does decide whether they hit that over under. He got healthy last year. He didn't look all that great towards the end of the season, but I imagine if he truly is healthy over the offseason with what they did to the rotation, I think they take some of those wins that I didn't want to give Seattle, and they hit the over, but not by very much. I think there's a lot of teams right in that 80 range, but I think they do. I think if that rotation, I like it a lot as far as just keeping them in games, and that's kind of what a 500 team has to do, and I think they can squeak right past that.
So I think again, and I mentioned it earlier, how this division is very tough to predict. And there's a reason. If a team is at 81 and a half over under, it just tells you that it's basically a coin flip.
Yeah.
So nothing's for sure. Obviously, I think a lot falls on Jacob deGrom. The fact that they won 68 games last year, I know that they signed some pieces and whatnot. I don't know if they're really 13 games better than last year, right? Their bullpen is not that much better. They haven't really done much there. Offensively, they added what? Robbie Grossman? Like it's not much, right?
No, you're right.
So
you're right.
My thing, I think Corey Seager is a dark horse in the MVP race. The fact that he's not going to have the shift. I think he's going to be one of the players that are going to be benefited the most in the major leagues because of the shifts. He hit 245. He still hit for a lot of power and whatnot, but that 245 can turn into 275 easily, and he can be a
30 points.
Well, for Seager, points? For Corey Seager, right. yes, I can see it. So Marcus Semien took a little bit for him to get comfortable there. Maybe he is, and he doesn't start so slow like he did last year. But I have to go under. I think talking about we were talking about Seattle earlier and how everything went right. I think a lot of things still went right for them. Like Nathaniel Lowe had a career year, right? Maybe this is the real Nathaniel Lowe, and then he's that good. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, they still had solid years, even though Semien started like a little bit slow. But they just don't have much more after that. Adolis Garcia, that's a 1 through 4, but they're banking on Josh Young. That's kind of like their prospect who they're expecting him to take a big step. And if he does, that's definitely going to help. But again, it's still the DeGrom. And if DeGrom is hurt, there's no way they hit this. Like literally no way. So
no. They're at 68 again.
Yeah. So I'm going under for the Texas Rangers. It was tough. I see them at like 77, 78. So it was close. But again, if DeGrom is DeGrom again, they can definitely go over, and they're in the playoffs. I don't know.
No, you're making good points, and this is baseball every year. And I think when you look at the over-unders, we realize it. With Seattle, we said everything went right. People stayed healthy. With the Rangers, everything has to go right. People have to stay healthy. And it is the story of every single year. I mean, 1 or 2 bad injuries, and these numbers look stupid, at the end of the year. But yeah, we'll see what we got.
Yeah, so I think that that is going to be interesting. Texas is going to be one of the most interesting teams out there. So I'll end up going under, but good luck to the Rangers.
You're not sounding very convinced on too many.
And
we were very convinced on the Astros, and then we've been like, maybe not.
Yeah, the Astros was an easy one. It felt like an easy one.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced on all my picks.